what's the sense of proving it? Do that kind of stuff afterwards. Do it in the changing area. Do it in the rest area. But in the list, it's all about the fight. So, as you see, a number of pole arms up here.
Yep, on both sides.
Oh, a big shot there. Again, precise fighters, the old friends. You can see that HMBIA, who's been really promising, in fact. He's a relative newcomer, but his movement has been exceptional, and he's been in a number of tournaments, including, of course, not only the Dynamo Cup, but also the Koningstreet Masters last year in the Netherlands. And although he's young, his tactics have been very impressive, and he's come up through the ranks of Claude Bern rapidly. Very close start to this old friends Western Tower fight. And all very well spread out.
Yeah, there's 5 individual fights going on right now.
Yep. And although no certain breakaway is in sight at the moment, there appears to be something of a lull, although two are trying to break free now. You need to be careful about which part of the weapon they are holding on to. Of course, you can't hold the striking part of the weapon. In the case of a pole, of course, you can hold on to the haft, as is permitted in HMB rules and regulations. So with almost 2 minutes gone, there's really nothing between these two teams, although you have two in the middle, and they're both gone. Yeah, they were too tightly locked.
Yeah, and that many spins is only going to go one way.
Yeah. It's not going to be possible to split out of that. So, still even, with just under 3 minutes to go. And in fact, the locks you can see that the Western Tower fighters have on his old friends fighters is interesting. Less so trying to put the pressure from above, which has been shown or demonstrated by Buhurt and even old friends at times. So, old friends famous for being a very aggressive team. And they've seen a fair share of fighters over the years. Again, as we pointed out a couple of times already, they did have a number of changes in the transfer period. Western Tower have a number of legends instead. I don't think there were any changes.
Only 2 minutes left of this first round now, and it's still impossible to call.
Yeah, this is as close as it gets. Yeah, it's just too close to call at this point. I really can't say, but of course the teams need to be careful in case the time does lapse, and it may come down to a point situation. That's good movement from Western Tower, however, on the other side. But the friends have got the footing to keep it up. Breakaway comes.
Yep, it's a wise idea to try and break up this deadlock.
And nothing came of that. So now you can see the old friends fighter there is desperate to get his energy back.
I think he might be hurt, maybe? I'm trying to think why you'd do that in the middle of a fight. I mean, that was just...
You just can't do that sort of thing with Western Tower.
You can't do that thing with anyone. I mean, I was shocked to see him just turn his back on the list. And
yeah, I'm not sure what the captain will say about that. I think that was just far too dangerous. And it was really only because of the crowd noise that was coming about that he could hear something was going to happen.
Also, he has to don't forget the screens in front of him.
Of course, well, that's true, but his head was buried right down.
I think he's just exhausted.
I think he's exhausted, yeah. But of course, you know, fights at this level, he's been fighting all morning. So it's understandable that people would be at a total loss of energy at this point.
Yeah.
So almost 20 seconds remaining of this fight. Wow. And there's absolutely nothing between these two teams.
15 seconds.
All either team needs now is to get one person down and they've won the round.
Yep. And it comes down to a time lapse. There it is. And it is a draw.
Wow.
Marshall calls for the start of the second round. Of course, as you can see, neither team with advantage. Old friends in their red and gold, Western Tower in black.
On est égalité parfaite. 0-0. 5 combattants contre 5 combattants. Pour ce second round.
And slightly loose, but I think that they're starting to get quite worn out.
Yeah, very much so.
With the intensity of the fights they've already had today, and this is the fight that they have at the end.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely going to be, you know, one of the most grueling fights to have at the end of a long morning.
Yeah. Don't forget, there's one more fight after this, and that will be the end of the group stage. Again, a little bit behind schedule.
Again, we're seeing a mirror.
Oh, that's a great takedown there! There he is once again. Old friends now with an advantage. So Western Tower on the back foot slightly. And there's the charge. Oh, it goes nowhere. Again, the Western Tower fighter leaving himself quite exposed at that point.
Yeah, very good try.
Yep.
Couldn't quite get the power behind that charge to put it on.
And you can see now that the Western Tower fighter in the middle, it will need to get to the side of the list at some point because he's slightly exposed. This comes down there. There's
Great
a good
halberd
strike
strikes
now. Western Tower trying to go for that against the tall halberdier of Old Friends. Nothing coming through. Well, still close here, but we're seeing more aggression from Old Friends at the moment. However, just as I said that, Western Tower come flying back into it with a great takedown. Well, I've been speaking too soon a number of times today, and that was a classic example of it.
It was indeed.
What a rush that was from Western Tower. There goes the gong for some unknown reason. I think somebody's trigger happy on that.
Maybe. The lights are confusing me as well now.
The lights are definitely confusing, and that can be really distracting for the fighters. And it also makes things very difficult for the marshals.
Yeah, it's not helping anyone, is it?
No. Again, we need to get that.
Having the corners in darkness is doing no one favours.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just creating difficulties. These things can't happen at this stage, or come at any stage. So, you can see the time is ticking down. I've got 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining.
It is back to 4-on-4. Could this be another draw?
It could well be. It's hard to place at the moment. But I think that's the way it's heading. I can't see anybody breaking the deadlock at this point, unless a break is made. Certainly, the early aggression shown in this round by Old Friends is starting to wear out, although they do have a good grip on some of the fighters. Western Tower, back. Oh, there's a loose break there, very close.
Very close. He did disarm him though.
He did disarm, yeah, that's good, but he's also got a spare weapon there. He does have a falchion. Oof, that was close.
That was really close.
And 1 minute remaining of this fight. I mean, it's just impossible to split these two apart. I wouldn't like to call it, although a couple of spatial errors made by Old Friends, though they are locking down and they won't go down very easily. You saw the great footwork from that halberdier earlier, despite the fact that he did lose his weapon. So a big roll for the last 30 seconds of this round. All it takes is one fighter to go down. So you can see that have not got the energy behind the strikes now.
No.
And of course, that's not his weapon of choice. It's just a backup weapon. He's using whatever he can. So that goes to the final 2 seconds.
And that's
And
it.
it's gone, yep. Wow.
Complete draw. I can't remember the last time I saw a complete draw.